It's crazy that something so small could be of any consequence. This is a pistachio, and one night, this tiny little thing ended up being a huge problem for me and my family. So a few years ago, my wife had the opportunity to go out and have a good old-fashioned girls' night with some of her friends. They decided to go up into the mountains this time. It was kind of a little bit more of a retreaty thing. Maybe some of the girls were even staying the night. My wife wasn't fully comfortable with that because we still had a little baby. At the time, we had 2 boys and then a little baby girl. And if I'm remembering right, it was the first time she had been able to go out since we had our little baby girl. And that's always a good thing. Good to have some time for yourself sometimes, so great. So she takes off with her friends and heads up to the mountains to have a great time. There's no cell phone service up there, and at the time I was just like, that's no big deal. I've been doing this dad thing for a long time now. I'm not going to need to call you for any reason at all. Well, at home, we had a great evening. I'm sure we had played Ninja Turtles and who knows whatever else, but it was starting to get a little bit late and time to go to bed. So we start heading up the stairs. I've got all the kids with me, and we start heading up. And my son, my younger son at the time, looks over at the table, and there was this great big bag of pistachios, because I love them. They're one of my favorite nuts. I think they're great. And he asked if he could have one of those. At that point, he was only 2, but I knew that he had already tried pretty much every other kind of nut on earth. I knew he had had almonds and peanuts and cashews and macadamia nuts and all these different things. So I had no reason to question him trying out a pistachio. I said, sure, buddy, here, give it a shot. I went and I grabbed him one and I handed it to him, and we started heading up the stairs. He put it in his mouth, he bit down. The second that it touched his tongue, he kind of freaked out. He started scratching his tongue, he spit it out, and I was just like, whoa, buddy, okay. I don't know why you don't like my favorite nut. That thing is delicious, but let's calm down a little bit. It's okay not to like things, but let's not spit it all over the floor. So he spits it out, it goes everywhere, and I clean it up. We're only halfway up the stairs, and he starts coughing bad, almost like he's choking. And I look at him, and his face is starting to turn red. And I mean, we're talking about seconds. And at that moment, I honestly didn't think that it could be an allergy because it just didn't seem right. He'd already tried all those other nuts, and he didn't even swallow the thing. He got like the essence of pistachio on his tongue. Anyway, by the time we get to the top of the stairs, he has splotches, and I don't know what's going on, but I'm nervous. I thought maybe he choked, and suddenly I realized, no, this could be an allergy. This is serious. And he starts kind of crying and coughing, and I don't know what to do. And I suddenly remembered we have a nurse that lives in the neighborhood. So I called her, and I told her what was going on, and she said, I'm coming over. You've got to take him to the hospital right now. She ran over within minutes. She was at the house. She offered to watch the baby and my older son so that I could take my younger son to the hospital as fast as I could. And I can't tell this story without thanking her. Thank you so much for your kindness and helping me out that night. Well, I get ready to go, and my older son really doesn't want to leave. He's really worried about his brother, and he just wants to stay. So I'm like, okay, let's go. You can come with me. Well, that night I definitely tested out how fast that van could get to the hospital. And I turned on the lights in there, and I'm looking in the rearview mirror, and I'm coaching my son and telling him to breathe and trying to relax, but I can tell that it's getting serious. So we get to the hospital, we rush. I mean, I'm moving as fast as I humanly can. I grab him, we go running in. I just leave my van right by the emergency room door. And within seconds, the nurses see him, and I'm yelling for help. And they come, and they can tell things are getting bad. And within seconds, he probably isn't going to be able to breathe because everything is just tightening up. And from then on, it was just a whirlwind. Doctors and nurses running around, giving him shots, trying to calm him down, trying to get everything to loosen up. And they gave him epinephrine and all of that stuff. And for about a half an hour there, it was really, really dicey. We almost lost him, all because of this stinking little thing. And all the while I was thinking to myself, why did this have to happen the one night that my wife is up in the mountains and I can't even call her? It's just weird, and it's almost ironic. It's like, am I supposed to learn something from this? Because really, it's probably not going to help my street cred on being a dad and her feeling okay that she's gone and she could ever leave me with the kids again. I'm a good dad. This is just a weird situation. Well, I am unbelievably grateful to those medical professionals that night for saving my son's life. He had finally calmed down and everything was okay. This was probably an hour or two later, but my older son, got in bed with him and just held him, and they fell asleep right there in the hospital bed. By then, my wife had finally got some of the texts that I had sent her, and this ER doctor came over and put his hand on my shoulder, and he's like, well, I don't need to tell you, but that was a close call. We almost lost him. And I was like, yeah, I caught that. Well, I've thought about this experience a lot and how strange it was that my wife is away, and I've thought maybe I really was supposed to learn something, and this is what I came up with. All it took was a tiny little pistachio that almost took my son's life away. I think likewise in our lives, there's often little things that are basically taking our lives away. They seem so small and inconsequential that we pay them little attention. Well, as I was stewing this all over one night, I had the thought pop in my mind, what if we didn't get to choose what our gravestones said when we die? What if it automatically listed where we've spent the most time in our lives? What would your gravestone say? Would it say, watched a lot of Netflix? Would it say, complained on social media? Would it say, constantly yelled at those that I should have most cared for? Would it say, was addicted to porn, fame, drugs, or video games? What do you want your legacy to be? How do you want to be remembered? See, sometimes it is the little things in our lives that's killing us, literally murdering our time. And if we're not careful, before we know it, our legacy will be nothing like we hoped. Well, watching a good movie or playing video games or posting on social media are all little things, and none of them are inherently bad. That same thing can't be said for some of the monstrous addictions that plague our world. But regardless, whether it's a drug addiction or nonstop scrolling on Pinterest, the headstone could have the footnote, they didn't have control over their lives. So maybe every once in a while, turn off that next episode and think of someone who you could serve. Who lives in your neighborhood that could use a little gift right now? Who could use a phone call? Who's someone that needs your unique talents? Well, this is just as much a reminder for me as it is for anyone else. And it's kind of the whole point of the Prioritize Your Life project and this channel is that we try and do everything that we can so we leave this life with no regrets. I know I want my auto-populating gravestone to say he was a dedicated husband, father, and friend. He made the world a brighter place by serving instead of complaining. It's time to think about our lives and where we put our time and make some adjustments right now. Tomorrow is coming quick, and they're probably going to come out with some new show that we're all probably going to love. Let's promise to make the actual physical people around us more important than the characters on the screen.